Hi. How's everyone doing today? My name is Ty, and I am the host and creator of Pop Culture Corner. Today, today for some of you, we are here for something that's, it's not something I really wanted to talk about, but I feel as if it is warranted. We will be getting into it, but before we do, let's talk about some good things. Guys, make sure to like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If it's your first time here, welcome. We love having new people. Absolutely love it. Speaking of new people, we got some new subscribers. Eddie Evolution, Tiago P, Will P, Robo Calais, which I called a robocall one time. Lisa N, Bobby B, Jackie, Marlene, Marco, and Phil. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. I really do appreciate that. You guys have no idea how much that means to me. We are still in our Live in July celebration. And it's an event that we're raising money for breast cancer. My mom did pass away from the disease about 3 months ago. So we're raising money to try to start a foundation in her name so that we can help women in the local Boston area who have the disease. Not everything is covered by health insurance. So our goal is to help them pay for stuff like that. So if you can donate, please donate. If you can't donate, share. If you can donate, share. That's all free. Everybody has a phone, a computer. So don't tell me that you can't share the link. All right, guys. I'm here today with AJ from GWW. How you doing, man?
Hello.
Hi. Well, we had our little Monday meeting today, right? We had a little meeting amongst us. And what's up, Resident Justice? What's up, Nick? What's up, Adam? What's up, all of y'all? We had our little Monday meeting, and then some stuff started rolling in. And Lightcast has announced that their motion comic has been canceled. Now, I know as of yesterday, Wonder Meg and Liz Wonder had left the project. Now, I've been talking about this. Our team has been talking about this project for about a week or 2 weeks now. And I've voiced some concern just about the legality. And I think what they were doing was kind of cool. Not going to lie. I like the idea. I like that it was for AFSP, or it was supposedly for charity. They got some cool people involved with it. Ray Porter, Austin always calls him Henry Lennox. So I'm always thinking Harry Lennox, Sam Benjamin. They had Dawson involved. I mean, the list goes on. Nicotina was executive producing it. He came up with the idea a while back. I mean, it just seemed like an all around kind of cool idea that was coming to fruition. And then all of a sudden, some stuff started happening. People started pulling out. There was some claims about plagiarism and stuff like that. And now, I mean, Lightcast, we have some pictures. I mean, Lightcast has removed themselves from social media, and some other people have removed themselves from social media as well. Dawson from Nerdy in Many Ways has removed himself from Twitter. Liz Wonder is taking a break from Twitter. Lightcast pulled from Twitter. I mean, what do you have to say about the toxic? I'm not saying anyone here or anyone involved or anything like that are toxic, but we cannot deny the fact that there are toxic people in the Snyder fan base. Do you think that they have won the day?
In my opinion, I wouldn't necessarily pin it on the toxic fan base or portion of toxic fan base. It is, in my opinion, that I feel the toxic crowd of the fan base is a loud minority, because not the entire fandom's like that. Like, I try not to generalize. So I think the main issue that happened was on creative choices they did with this motion comic, and we're trying to let it like slip by unnoticed, that
Okay.
they're trying to cover up these clear issues in terms of plagiarism.
Okay.
And I think calling out that there were some artists involved with the comic that was clearly copying other people's artwork, I don't think it's toxic, because it helps bring stuff to light. And I believe those artists that they're trying to copy from deserve credit at the very least.
Well, I mean, but they never got the chance to give them the credit, right? Like the project never came out, right? So how can you give credit to someone if the project has not come out yet? Like say I was doing say I was doing the motion comic, and I was taking inspiration from Jim Lee because he was one of my favorites, which he actually is. And at the end, I was, you do legally, they would probably have to put something like, even in, like, for instance, Netflix, like, or DC, it's always says like based on this, right? Based on this character created by this so and so and so, right? So, I mean, they didn't really get the chance to do that. I'm not saying that they're innocent by any means either. They did put those pictures out there in order to garner hype for the project. And yes, they did not give credit where credit may have been due. I did see some of the pictures of, the long list of, like, it was like Wonder Woman and that, all of that stuff, with the comparisons of the real comic book shots. And I don't think that that's necessarily an issue to draw inspiration. But it is a problem. I don't know if this is what happened. People were saying that they were tracing. They had some great artists working on this. I have a hard time believing that they were tracing things.
It's, when I mean credit, they officially released these images to tease and kind of advertise, or have more people talking about it, a more push for people to get into the comic. I think when they release those certain stills or panels, that they should at least credit the artist. Honestly, there are great artists, and I think references are great now. I personally use references, but there's a level of the point where a bunch of that artwork is clearly, it looks highly traced, in the sense that when you look at how they have the pen, or how the drawings, the shapes, how the faces, the shading, etc., like many details. There's many details that it just looks so exact to the upper comic book panels that's from, that it does look highly traced.
Right.
And I think I do think that there's this one panel that people said was traced, which was the Hal Jordan one. I didn't get that one though, but with other artwork, I can.
The Hal Jordan one was actually so there was three that I said that I didn't think. The Hal Jordan one, the Flash one, and maybe it was just those two. Those two, I chalked up to inspiration. The other ones, I mean, the Superman one, it looked day and night, right? I mean, I'm not night and day. It looked like they just kind of added color to it. The shading was very similar, yada, yada, yada. Listen, I voiced my concerns for this whole time. Like I said, I supported it because it was for a good cause. But I also questioned a lot of it, and that's because that's what my job is, right? That's my job, to question everything and to not sit idly by. I use my platform to speak my mind and to speak how I want to speak, because that's who I am, right? So I am not coming at it from either side. I'm not on Lightcast side,
Yes.
and I'm not on anyone's side. I am in the neutral area. Yes, I've had Lightcast on. I am, you could consider me friends with some of the folks over there at Lightcast. Yes. However, that doesn't mean anything, right? Not in this context. It doesn't, because they're unfortunately, they are the main people attached to this. So I am not sure where to think, or do you think that there was some behind the scenes issues? Do you think Warner Brothers maybe reached out to them and said, listen, you can't do this?
Did you see the artwork they released today?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the biggest that kind of showed that this is kind of traced. Okay. Basically, there's panels they released of Superman punching Darkseid. It looks completely traced, but with a Zack Snyder's Justice League theme to it. Then there's, artwork of Superman crying that looks pulled directly out of another panel. Captain Cold, they ripped him from a Flash comic.
Okay.
You got Gary Frank's art of Lex Luthor being completely traced from Doomsday Clock. You have David Finch's artwork being traced with Batman punching Superman, but you don't have Superman in there. It's the same exact drawing, but they removed the punching hand and removed Superman, and it looks to be of Darkseid killing Batfleck.
Okay.
And then you have more Jim Lee artwork of, like Aquaman that got traced.
Okay.
Like there's a bunch of artwork that got released today, throughout the day, that showed how much got traced. Or like one panel is Superman punching Wonder Woman from the comics. They traced that with Superman punching Mera.
Yeah,
yes.
I did see that.
And
well, what? Again, okay, yeah, okay. But I'm saying, my question was, do you think that Warner Brothers reached out to them and said you can't do this? Like, why did it get canceled? Why is it canceled? Is the question I am posing.
I feel like if Warner Bros. Got involved with this, then a bunch of stuff relating to the comic would have already been taken down. They would have released, etc. Or, there would be certain legalities to that they would not be allowed to release certain things in project. They would get shut down completely if Warner Bros. Had stepped in, which I don't think is the case here, personally.
But I don't think anyone deserves, and Resident Just RJ says it very, very perfectly here. No matter what the case is, no matter what the circumstance, no matter what, who or they is involved, no one deserves to be bullied, harassed, or tormented. And it seems as if some of these good people that were involved, Wonder Meg, Liz Wonder, Dawson, Ray Porter even got harassed about being in this. Like, I don't think they deserved what they got. And it's not their, they were contributing maybe their voices, right? For the roles. And they had nothing to do with the artwork, but yet they're the ones that are taking the brunt of this catastrophe. So I don't think that's fair at all.
Oh, I agree. The voice actors and people involved in that way, they are innocent. They have nothing to do with the artwork. The main issue is the artwork, or who the artists were, or how that was managed. But like people like Meg, Ray Porter, they should not be harassed or anything like that. They were not involved with the actual problem. Like as it's likely, they were hired as voice actors. So typically they're not involved with the art process. They are usually, they are assigned to, record the lines and that's it. So they, they're not to blame or anything at all. And they shouldn't be harassed, etc. There shouldn't be anything like that towards people on the project, like in that sense, people ain't bring to light the actual issues and not put blame on people who have nothing to do with that area.
Right. Would you have watched this had this project come out? Would you have watched it or read it? I don't know how a motion comic works. To be fair, would you have consumed this had it come out?
I would say it's both a watch and read. Motion comics are typically the comics of the panels, and they're animated on a screen in the sense like it goes from panel to panel. And maybe the comic will maybe the characters in the comic will move back and forth. Like it's just like the drawing is like it's like this flash animation, and you have the voiceover. So I guess in a sense you're kind of watching the comic instead of reading.
I kind of related to like, do you have the DC Universe app?
Yes, I had the DC Universe app. I got rid of it.
Where if you read a comic on the DC Universe app, it kind of like you can go into a certain mode and it won't animate it, but it will kind of move to each panel in a way where it seems animated. So that's kind of like what I thought when I thought of it. But
yeah, that's understandable. It's similar in that sense. Motion comics, DC used to do them a lot back in late 2000s. Like they did one for Mad Love, they did one for Watchmen. I can't remember.
I gotta check out that Watchmen one.
Yeah, cool. And sometimes, typically, they have for like the Mad Love one, they have these actors who's trying to sound like the characters, and it feels weird. Better off just watch the actual animated episode, in my opinion. But had this came out completed, I would have given it a chance had not these issues occurred. Because when all this artwork and everything came out, it really put a different side to it that it just did not feel right. It felt extremely off.
Okay. All right. And okay, so and whose fault is this?
In my opinion?
Yes, in your opinion.
Honestly, I don't know everything that happened behind the scenes, but from the looks of it, Lightcast, instead of apologizing, they left, which typically one can assume that or presume that if you're going to run away from the issue, then that kind of pushes for in the sense that you could be guilty than rather innocent in that case. So I feel like it was definitely someone within Lightcast and the artist, and how, or maybe I don't know how if Lightcast was looking all the artwork every time. I don't know how they received the artwork. I don't know the process there. If they oversaw the development and no one pointed it out whatsoever for Muffs, then that is just strange to me. Like, that this is a thing you've had working on and you don't point out these comics, this artwork is looking exactly like past panels. Like, it's like they took the comic book panels and put a Zack Snyder Justice League DLC over it and call it a day in that sense. And it
Okay,
just,
well,
it's, yeah.
here's something. So we have this. So this is what before Lightcast left Twitter or whatever, they did release this announcement. So I'll read it because it is kind of small. It comes with a heavy heart that we have to announce the Dreamscapes of Justice League, a motion comic, has been officially canceled. As fans of the Snyderverse, we and a group of fellow fans took it upon ourselves to see a continuation of the canceled story of Justice League come to life. With the involvement of actors, artists, musicians, and many others, we all agree to give our talents and time for free to achieve this goal and support the AFSP charity at the same time. What we did not foresee was the general uneasiness about the project from general public, some rare targeted harassment towards members of the team, the countless legalities we've dealt with, and ultimately our own mistakes on certain parts of the project. We sincerely apologize to those of who supported us along the way, and we acknowledge our shortcomings as highlighted by others. All work on the project has been ceased immediately, with all parties involved having agreed it is for the best. Many thanks to the supporters and those who held us accountable in our faults. What? That's a lot to digest. That is simply a lot to digest. So they are admitting to some degree that they made mistakes. But they're saying that people were targeted and harassed, from the team. And then the part that I'm registering, the countless legalities we've dealt with. That's the part, and that's the part that I've been talking about for a long time. Or that's the part that's what I've been speaking about in a general aspect since I heard about this. The legality of it. And it's clearly addressed here. So they definitely encountered some form of legality issue. And it says that they've made mistakes on certain parts of the project and that they apologize to those who supported them along the way. And we acknowledge our shortcomings as highlighted by others, which means that, I don't know if you were watching this on Twitter, but it was nonstop. People attacking anyone who was involved with the project. And I just don't like that.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any harassment to anyone involved with the project. I think it is strange in a sense that I feel like if this was shut down by Warner Bros., then they could have made it clear on social media platforms that this was shut down by Warner Bros. As other artists in the past has done.
Right.
And they wouldn't have had to leave all of social media. If they got shut down, if the project got shut down by Warner Bros., that doesn't necessarily mean all your accounts and everything got shut down too.
Right. Yeah.
And
Okay, I see where you're going with that.
there's also many replies they made throughout the day saying there's no tracing and mocking people who claim the tracing. Like they even made one post that was it was of Zack Snyder when he made a homage to Superman the movie, and claiming that as he was mocking people saying, "Oh, this is tracing, huh?" When that
was a totally different project, though.
Yes,
and it was sanctioned.
Yeah, and another thing with that as well, what some of these people don't realize is that Zack Snyder is working on a film based off of IP owned by Warner Bros., which is being produced by Warner Bros. Technically, he's allowed to use any resources from Warner Bros. Catalog or make homages to past Warner Bros. Films or Warner Bros. Owned IPs if he wants. Like I've
Right.
seen someone like mention that, oh, Zack Snyder copied The Dark Knight Returns, when no, that's not the same. This is not the same as what this project was.
Right. This is I mean, and some would argue that fan-made projects, like fan films, they're made all the time, right? Look at the Star Wars community. I think there's about 1,000,002 fan-made Star Wars movies, yet they didn't go through or they didn't have to deal with you know, all these issues. What do you have to say on that?
I don't know all the copyright laws, but I think there's stuff that depends or what qualifies or how it works, in the sense that how it is written, what they mention, how where the funding is going, or how of what the money, the proceeds are going towards, etc. That is non-profit. Like I think what happened with the Star Wars fan film, I think it's Vader, that got copyrighted strike due to similar music to John Williams. So Disney will come after in areas like that.
Yeah,
I know that there was controversy with Disney like 2 years ago about how parents wanted to put Spider-Man on a grave, but Disney would not allow it whatsoever.
exactly. And people don't. So that's what I had to say about the fan film thing, is that when Lucasfilm owned Star Wars, that's when the fan films are being made and they were getting away with it. Now that Disney owns it, it doesn't fly. Disney will not let it happen. You can barely get away with printing a Spider-Man logo on a t-shirt and trying to sell it. Like, it doesn't work that way anymore. Or at least legality, like when Disney doesn't play. Disney doesn't play that game. Disney are their that's their money that you're taking away, right? So they don't allow that. Lucasfilm maybe was a little bit more like relaxed about it because it was helping them kind of promote, and in the same way the Sega the Sonic fan base, Sega let them make fan films all the time and even promoted some of them because of it, because it only helped them. But with Disney doesn't need help. They don't need people making fan films in order for them to get discovered. Everyone knows who Disney is, and everybody knows who Warner Brothers is. Everyone knows who the Justice League are. You're working with some of the biggest IP that there is in the universe, with Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman and Green Lantern, and this had to have been expected. This is what I've been saying from the beginning. I just I don't support toxicity. I do not. And I don't think anyone should be bullied. Yep. However, I don't think that this was I don't think this was anyone's place to make except for the studio. And that's where I stick. That's where I stick. That's where I stand, I should say.
Oh, and TW McKay corrected in comments that it was Warner Chappell Music who took the video down, not Disney, which is interesting. Yeah, it's so these legalities. Yeah, it was. I got it confused. It was Warner Chappell Music who took down the video, not Disney, because the instrumental used sounded similar. Okay. Yeah, there's many things that depend or that get passed or whatnot. It's a complicated situation with a lot of things. I think so I think with the comic, the motion comic, is you do have fans who were trying to do this based off the storyboards that are owned by Warner Bros. And I remember when the storyboards leaked online, Warner Bros. Took them down immediately. So I don't know if that was a legal issue, because you have them trying to, I don't know if it's stealing or not, in the sense that they're taking this canceled story that's owned by Warner Bros., then putting stolen artwork on top of it is not a good situation.
Yeah. And in my knowledge, if I'm correct, I would assume that in order to do something like this, you would have to get it cleared by the owners. Like fair use, yes, that, you know, with the advent of like things like YouTube and Spotify and all these platforms where you can make videos and stuff, you know, like TikTok and whatever. Well, back when it was back when Vine was a thing. Fair use was invented, right? The idea that you could take copyrighted material, and as long as you didn't use a full amount, like I can't take the whole Zack Snyder's Justice League movie and put it on my YouTube channel. That's not, you can't do things like that. However, if I clipped a little bit of Zack Snyder's Justice League and commentated over it, right, that can be considered fair use. However, fair use is, the fair use laws at least are heavily in favor of the content, the copyright holder, right? So even if this project made it and was created and put out, I think they would have still run into issues had it been put on YouTube.
I remember when in the Harry Potter community, someone once told me back when Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2 were releasing, Warner Bros. Was heavily strict with fan art over Harry Potter and would take it down. I don't know how true that is, because I was not a fan at that time. I've not seen anything on it, but it is interesting that sense that I know that fair use typically is, it's allowed when you're like reviewing something or narrating over something, etc.
There's a list of fair use. There's a list of things that fall under fair use. For instance, educational, commentary, mashup, remix. You know, fair use is a very loose term, and you can get away with a lot, or you can do a lot with it. And it was meant for people like us on YouTube, and people meant so that we wouldn't get in total trouble, right? If we wanted to do like a trailer reaction, right? That's as long as you're not taking profit away from the studio that owns, or not, and this isn't always the case, as long as you're not taking away monetary value or hurting the image of an IP that another company owns, I don't see the problem with it. I don't. If you're, listen, I did a Suicide Squad reaction trailer. I said nothing but good things, and I got hit with a flag, right? Not a strike, but a flag. It's YouTube's algorithm. That's the way that works, right? And then you have to dispute it, and then they look at it, they review it, yada yada, and then they'll either overturn it or they won't. Most of the time, they'll overturn it because they realize that it's just YouTube's algorithm. However, then if music is involved, you have a tougher situation on your hands, because you know the video owner might say, okay, yeah, that's okay, but the music, the musician or the composer might be like, no, not okay with me. So you have legality issues left and right when it comes to these things. And I'm sure that they were going to have music. I know Ill Life was doing some of the music, so he would have been able to give them consent, but was it only going to be Ill Life's music that was in it, or were they going to use other inspired maybe by Junkie XL or something like that? Who knows? Anything could have happened. We don't know. So I just, this is a tough situation. Part of me wanted to see the project. Part of me didn't, right? Part of me still wants to see it. And part of me is a little disappointed that, I won't get to see it. But, I mean, what are your overall thoughts? What are you thinking? What's going through your mind? Like, is this, do we think the Snyderverse is ever going to be returned at all?
In my opinion, I think, honestly, from the looks of everything, when not counting the opinions of WB executives, I feel like the Flash movie could open the doors up to something Snyder related, in a sense. Like, it's hard for me to see them greenlight all these hundreds of projects so quickly. Like, people want Adam, Deathstroke, Green Lantern with Zack's Green Lantern Corpse specifically. They want the Batman. They want all these spin-offs of all these Zack characters, like Lois Lane show, etc. Superman standalone sequel to
Lois
Zack.
Lane show.
I've heard so many crazy ideas, and I mean, you know what? I can see some of them. I would love to watch them all, but Warner Bros. Is not going to greenlit 50 projects so quickly. They're not going to. They already have a DC
and they've done that before. Look how that happened,
right? And that's the thing. Like, they, in the mid 2010s, they had all these DC projects in development and trying to manage them while doing Justice League. And when Justice League came out as what they did at Justice League and how to end up being a gigantic disaster, they shut down a lot of those projects. And because Warner Bros. Or the people managing DC, they needed time to think on how they can, how could DC films be after Justice League, in that sense that we're lucky that Aquaman came out as positively received as it did, which was so shocking to me, and that they needed time to find a footing, because the Justice League, everything fell apart. And now we do have Zack Snyder's Justice League, but I don't think Warner Bros. Has the faith that they used to have in doing everything with the Snyderverse. And I support Snyderverse. I would love to see more of it. At this moment, I think it's very much up to the Flash movie, because I think Andy Muschietti is pro Zack in the sense. I feel like look at this way. He did not have to, but he kept a similar Kryptonian emblem on Supergirl with a new message in Kryptonian lettering. And it's Zack Snyder specific Kryptonian language. It's not a new one or anything. The woman who created the language for Zack, she confirmed that it is the same Kryptonian language from Man of Steel. And those details, all that, while the S does look different, honestly, and I know people are like, but it has its difference. In CW, the Supergirl had a different emblem than Hulkling Superman. In comics, Supergirl has had different emblems than Superman. So it's not like going against anything.
Well, and she's also she's I don't know if this has been confirmed yet, but she's also not from our universe. She's from the Injustice universe, right? Like she's not Kara. She's not she's someone else, right?
Sort of. Basically, the costume and the hair looks to be inspired by a not very known character named Lara from Injustice. However, yes. It seems
which is a descendant. Wait, who's a descendant of? So that could be a reason why the S is different, right? Because it's not the House of L, right? It's well, that there could be any multitude of reasons on why that is different, and I don't think we need to get caught in that, right? I think, and I agree with you. I agree with you completely about the Kryptonian language being used. I think that's a good sign. I don't think Ben Affleck would sign up for a project that would hurt the Snyderverse unless Warner Brothers was like, listen, I'm gonna, unless he sold out. I don't know, and I don't see that happening. I really don't, because Ben,
I don't think so.
Yeah, Ben almost, when Joss came in and Jeff Johns was doing whatever Jeff Johns was doing, Ben almost had people walk off the set, right? Ben is a huge Snyder supporter. And that picture, by the way, with him walking with the Snyderverse shirt is Photoshopped. So don't believe that picture. It's totally Photoshopped, just for the record. I don't think that Ben would be in this project had it posed a threat to the Snyderverse existing. I do not think that Ezra would. Well, I guess Ezra is a different case because he needs the money. Fantastic Beasts, I guess, isn't paying the bills as of right now.
Well, Fantastic Beasts 2 did make over 3 times its budget. It was a success financially, so it still does well to general audiences.
Yeah, well, how long does that money last, right? I think that's actors need to keep working, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
and I think Ezra needs the work. I think, but I still think, and that's the part of me that's having a big issue with boycotting anything that's not the Snyderverse. It's like, dude, Ezra is Zack's choice for the Flash. Whether or not the Snyderverse proper continues, we should still be supporting characters like Ezra Miller's Flash because of where it started. That's just my opinion.
About this. I don't think Supergirl is a descendant of this Clark or Lois. Actually, I theorize. So we've seen concept art that leaked from the fandom video, and it shows in the Flashpoint comic, in that universe that Barry Allen created, Superman was captured by the government and he was held captive there for years. Concept art shows
all skinny and sickly.
Yep. And
that could be
concept
her.
Art shows. Yep. And that she may be from the Tim Burton universe, who is brought over to DCEU, and where Barry could give her, or Barry could actually, my theory is, Barry brings her over to DCEU so she could be with the only other Kryptonian he knows is alive. And then perhaps Henry Cavill's Superman.
I'm sorry. Yo, I'm dead. I'm sorry. Sorry.
You're good. I was saying that Henry Cavill Superman could give the Supergirl the costume. On Ezra Miller, Ezra is highly close to Zack. It's highly close to Zack, and has brought on Zack to help him with personal small projects, as we've seen throughout the past years. And Ezra, actually, there's a Justice League promo video during the awful promo after Whedon was brought in. MTV asked the cast, what are your favorite scenes from Justice League that you did? And Ezra discussed it was a scene with a hamburger with the Flash. And he basically described a scene that was not in theatrical cut whatsoever, but was in the Snyder cut. So
wasn't
his favorite scene,
wasn't it a hot dog?
No, a hamburger. In Zack Snyder's Justice League, it's a hamburger that the truck driver's eating. And Ezra Miller.
Okay. I was I'm thinking of the hot dogs that he put in his pocket and stuff.
Oh yeah. Ezra Miller basically explained that scene is his favorite, and that is I guess he was implying that the scene where Barry Allen saves Iris is his favorite scene in that promo clip. When but he was not in theatrical cut.
Right. Okay.
And think about this. Think about this as well. Theatrical cut Barry Allen does not have Iris. Kiersey Clemens does not exist in a theatrical cut. but Andy Muschietti brought Kiersey Clemens back as Iris in the Flash movie. When Andy did not have to do that. I remember there are articles saying that Warner Bros. Was going to recast Iris for the Flash movie, that they were going to bring a new actress, that Kiersey is gone because the old director that was doing it is gone, you know, that they were saying this or that, but Andy brought back Kiersey Clemens,
which would have been a huge mistake.
Yep.
By the way, I live in my house is a 2-family house, right? It's like in Boston, a lot of houses are like, you know, 2 families. Like I have the bottom condo and someone has the top condo. The girl that lives in the top condo, she went to school with Kiersey Clemens, and she actually reached out to her for me. So,
oh wow,
yeah. So I might be getting an exclusivo, as Dave Pena would say, when it comes closer to the Flash. So
that's great.
Stay tuned for that. But yeah, I thought that was when she told me that because she started watching the channel. She was like, "Hey, did you know? Like, I have Kiersey's number," and I was like, "Oh, you about to make a favor happen?" Yeah, you know.
And
sorry, that was
another
totally
thing.
off topic.
Oh, you're good. You're good. And another thing with Ben Affleck too. Ben Affleck signed on to additional work on Zack Snyder's Justice League before he signed on the Flash movie. If he was against playing Batman again or anything, he would have had the scene in the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League be his send-off. Because that scene in Zack Snyder's Justice League that was done with additional photography was basically a ending scene for Batfleck of Martian Hunter telling Bruce that his parents will be proud of him. That completes his entire arc. And Ben being so close to Zack, highly close to Zack, he signed on the role to do it because he loved Zack's story and did it for his kids. And he experienced the worst. He experienced Justice League, and he, to the point that he, due to also personal life issues as well, he left the Batman film, and he came back for the Flash movie. And it was reported, there's articles that discussed how Ben may have done some additional work on the Flash script, that he himself did some small rewrites for the Flash script.
Yeah, I thought that was known, that they allowed him to kind of like rewrite his own sequences.
I've not seen many spread it. I just see many people going with a rumor that Batfleck will die in this movie, that Michael Keaton's replacing Ben Affleck, etc. Which, when you think about it, does not make sense whatsoever. But
yeah, people already complained that Ben Affleck was too old to be Batman, so we're gonna bring in someone who's 60,
right? And they think that somehow he's going to replace it, when this movie is a multiverse movie, not a time travel movie, and either way, it would not make sense whatsoever and for Michael Keaton to somehow replace Ben Affleck.
I recognize the council has made a decision, but given that it's a stupid-ass decision, I've elected to ignore it.
What the hell? Did I hit that?
I don't know. But you know, I feel like if Ben does have a send off in the Flash movie, it'll be on his terms and not Warner Bros., not Andy. But honestly, I can't see Michael Keaton being a mainstream Batman for future films, because, you know, they're gonna do JSA. They're gonna do all these films. I'm sure Warner Bros. Is going to want another Justice League movie at one point, and they can't have Michael Keaton Batman be the main Batman of it, to be honest. Just thinking logically. And I know people are like, but this is Warner Bros. But in all honesty, in my opinion, Aquaman, the Joker, Birds of Prey, 184, they're not very too convoluted in story and characterized. So it's like, Why would
Yeah.
the Flash movie be? Why would the Flash movie make no sense whatsoever?
Yeah.
It's
I mean, I
not.
put out a poll on YouTube asking if anyone was actually excited for the Flash movie, and 65% of people said that they were undecided. I have a question for you. Do you think that we'll see any do you think we'll see a follow-up to this? Do you think we'll get a follow-up of that?
You know, I'll say that there's a bunch of Barry Allens in this movie, in the sense that, you know, this is the multiverse. There's some things I'm not allowed to say, but I can say that, it's the multiverse. Anything is possible within the grand DC multiverse. And
Well, the problem is that in that storyline, the Crisis storyline, the multiverse gets pretty much wiped away. So people are wondering how that could possibly happen. Because yes, they did cross over, right? Like Ezra and Grant, but in Grant's story, in Crisis, the multiverse is no longer a thing, or I guess supposedly, all the multiverse, everything is now on Earth Prime, and I was wondering because Barry clearly is confused. Our Barry, I'm going to call him my Barry, Ezra. He is kind of confused on how he got there, right? So I'm thinking maybe in his travels, whenever he's in the Flash movie, he ends up at that time, at that place with that conversation. And that's how he gets the name The Flash. I think they'll work that in somehow, and kind of pay homage to that sequence. And there were rumors of Grant Gustin possibly making a cameo. So, I mean, I don't know. Would you like that?
At the end of Crisis, the multiverse is still reestablished. It's just Supergirl's Earth and CW Barry Allen's Earth. Their Earths merge. But while, Earths like, Brandon Routh's Superman Earth, that is, it was reestablished, like all these Earths were brought back in new ways. We didn't see all of them. I mean, we've seen one Earth that teased Green Lantern. We also saw the Stargirl Earth, the Titans Earth, the Doom Patrol Earth. I mean,
the
so all
swamp
Earths
thing.
do get.
I loved when because I'm a huge Swamp Thing guy. So when they went to this, when you saw the swamp, I was like, oh
Yeah.
I was pumped.
The multiverse is very vast and it's already been introduced. This is the first. I don't think people realize this. This is I'm pretty sure this will be the first time, maybe besides Lady Seth and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I don't think that's something that is too big as this thing where you have a cinematic iteration of the Flash come to TV to meet the TV Barry Allen Flash.
Yeah, that was huge.
And I remember when that came, no one was expecting it. It was a big surprise for everyone.
Yeah, because it was a rewrite, and they had to. They didn't even know it was. They finished Crisis. They finished filming, and then went back and did that. Because they had to get permission, and then they got the permission, and yada yada, and then they went back and filmed that. So that was filmed after the fact, and then put in. And I thought that was a great surprise. What's up, DC Talk with Extended and Katsuka?
They'll find a way to. Well, no, I can't say that. I won't be surprised if we do see this Barry Allen meet Ezra Miller once again. And think about this. There's a connection. Jim Lee. Jim Lee was the one who made that scene happen, and Jim Lee is heavily involved with Flash movie. And Jim Lee was heavily involved with Zack Snyder's 5-film arc and helped plan that. So it is interesting that the big DC movie that Jim Lee's involved with since Snyder's DC films is the Flash movie, and that Jim Lee helped create that Ezra Miller scene for the Crisis. That is a big connection that not many have noticed, but you know, there is, you know, the multiverse, like I say, it is huge, and you know, I'm sure there's stuff there. I mean, it's been reported that Linda Carter's version of Wonder Woman is in this movie, and I've not seen many people talk about that. You know, this isn't just Michael Keaton's Batman. This is the entire DC multiverse. This, you know, and recent set photos from today shows a Barry Allen speaking to another Barry Allen. And
you don't think that that's a body double?
Well, think about this. And I thought about that as well, but we see in the one leaked photo of Ezra's Barry in the Batcave, he has longer hair and he's wearing this yellow jacket. But in the set photos from today, it's Ezra Miller with the short hair, wearing a different outfit, speaking to this Barry with that outfit. And wouldn't a stunt double wear the same clothing, or why would they wear different clothing? And I know there's things like taking different takes and whatnot, but you can definitely tell that the camera is shooting and that something is definitely happening there. Unless they want us to be tricked and unless they want to trick us and make us think there's multiple things. I think it's possible that Barry Allen could be discussing Barry Allen. I mean, you have another Barry, so it's like there's a lot of Barry Allens. And and because I can't confirm anything I'm not allowed to say, but this movie I think is going to be huge. What people underestimate is Andy Muschietti recreated the entire Batcave from Tim Burton's Batman films. All practical sets, everything, and so it's so huge and grand and so detailed and so much effort. And the thing about Tim Burton's Batman is they were huge films. They were huge Hollywood blockbuster films. They did all the spectacle, the fantastical world of Gotham and the Batcave and how the Batmobile, how it drives everything. And when you think about that's huge already, but put that on top of the Speed Force. Yeah, this movie is so huge that I don't think people realize. There's like Tim Burton's Batman's already huge, but then you have this Flash movie that's taking it to the next level. There could be different Earths that you could see Ezra Flash travel to, and how they recreating everything. They're going, like, Andy Muschietti is going back to all the locations that Tim Burton filmed at for Gotham to capture it exactly to how it was in 1989 and 1991.
Right.
That is, honestly, if Michael Keaton's Batman was there for nostalgia, one, I don't think Michael Keaton would have signed on for just a nostalgia cash cow. Two, Michael Keaton cares a lot about the Batman character, and he did mention in interviews or Homecoming that he did say he loved doing Batman because he felt that Tim Burton created the first dark comic book movie. So I think Michael Keaton loved the script. And three, if this was just nostalgia, then they would just throw Michael Keaton's Batman in front of a green screen and call it a day. They wouldn't put too much effort into recreating all of these film techniques, all these practical effects, these sets, everything. It takes so much time, so much effort. You can definitely tell that Andy Muschietti cares about these many things. And on the multiverse, Ezra Miller said in promo for Fantastic Beasts 2, he said he explained that the Speed Force is, the key to the multiverse. It's, the multiverse is this huge thing that the speedsters can access, and that you can tell he had so much passion for the multiverse. And even then, on that side too, you have photos of him holding Grant Morrison's comics And then he went as far to do a script with Grant Morrison, and Grant Morrison organized the entire DC multiverse with a comic called Multiversity.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Ezra Miller, Andy Muschietti have passion for this Flash movie. It's not going to be this quick, rushed, nostalgia pandering film that people say it is. It's definitely a it's a meetup of these creative decisions. Ezra wants multiverse, and I remember that there were talks that Andy Muschietti had like homages to Tim Burton's Batman in the It films. That there's definitely some inspiration in It films from Burton's films. I heard something about that. So what if Andy Muschietti himself loves, Tim Burton and the films that Tim Burton did? So there could also be that for many reasons why, etc. And also, as I mentioned earlier, Voline reported the Vulcan reporter months back that Linda Carter is reprising her role as Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
So
I'm not. God. You think that's a little bit too much? I think it might be a little too much.
No, because the thing with DC is DC had a powerful TV. They were powerful in TV industry. Like Adam West Batman is one of the most iconic Batmans, and that was a TV show, then got a movie. Which that's how successful it was. And Linda Carter's Wonder Woman was a very successful TV show that impacted pop culture for being, the first major female superhero on screen, especially TV. So she is a part of the iconography of DC and DC's legacy. And then you have Smallville, which Smallville was hugely successful, and which led to the Arrowverse. And the Arrowverse, as much as I personally I don't like Arrowverse much personally, it is hugely successful audiences. It makes millions and millions of views every week. They get renewed all the time because each show is highly successful at the GA. So
Arrow's still going?
No, not Arrow.
Yeah, Arrowverse
they call it the Arrowverse because Arrow is the first show.
Got it. Got it.
Like DC has strong. Their TV side is definitely iconic to pop culture and to general audiences. Many people know who Adam West Batman is. Many people know Linda Carter's Wonder Woman. They know Tom Walling's Clark Kent, and they are a part of DC legacy. So I could see the Flash movie, since we can't have Adam West's Batman. Unfortunately, rest in peace, Adam West. They could go. The Flash could go to Linda Carter's Wonder Woman Earth. And seeing as how Andy Muschietti is recreating all of these things from Batman and Batman Returns, what if he recreates the look of a 1970s TV show with Linda Carter's Wonder Woman when Ezra Miller Flash goes there? There's the technicalities of it all is insane. So I definitely think there's potential for all this to work as the big major DC multiverse.
Well, Austin, you're here now.
Yeah. I think this film's gonna suck, guys, and let me tell you why.
No.
I'm totally
Austin, well, we've been on for about an hour now. We clearly already discussed some things. But what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this? What's going on today? Because I do have to wrap it up soon. So.
Oh yeah. No, I know. I don't know if Kaiden explained what happened, but I'll tell you after. But So I mean, obviously, I guess earlier, the motion comic.
Lightcast announced today.
Yeah, that it was canceled.
But they have canceled the motion comic. But they've also pulled off of Twitter.
Yeah, YouTube.
And YouTube.
Yep.
I think someone else is hitting it. Why did this happen?
I think obviously it was pointed out, that a lot of the art was very similar or seemed like it was being traced, very similar to some other iterations, other versions, whether like characters being switched out, like I think one of them was they switched out like Mara for Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. But still, the similarities were just too close for something that had been advertised as something that was going to be 100% original. Obviously, people like me, I supported it because of some of the people that I've met, that I've gotten to know, but it does, something like this, an oversight like this in the PR, it is disappointing, but it's also it's pretty bad. I think just also the way the fandoms reacted, as far as sending people hate messages and all this other stuff. It's been a day, but I think overall, I think just the one thing we can all learn is to, we don't always know everything. We don't always know people's intentions. We don't always know, for sure. But at the end of the day, we all have to, be willing to see when something is obviously wrong, and there was obviously some plagiarism or something going on there. Whether the people in charge were aware or not. But it is a bit disappointing, because I thought it was a great idea, and I thought it would have benefited the fandom a lot had it gone through. I really do.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, but yeah, that's.
But it was weird.
Thank you, Grace. It was
right.
weird.
Yeah.
Thank you, Grace.
But it was weird.
God. Good Lord.
I think we entered the multiverse, and now we're on Nicotina.
The multiverse of Grace. Oh God.
No, but it just sucks, because I just don't. Part of me, part of me has been critical. Part of me has been this or that. Talking about legality and all that other stuff, right? But
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I do want to see people succeed. I want to see cool things happen. I want to see people do cool things, because I like when good things happen, and I like I like seeing people smile, and I like when people have a good time. And it seemed like a lot of people were going to have a good time, and a lot of people did support this. It does suck that it's not happening anymore, or as of right now in its current form. That's not to say it will never happen, but as of right now, it's not. I guess the real question is should we allow toxic people to dictate what we can and can't do?
It's a very hard question, because in today's world, toxic people can become actually dangerous. Obviously we've talked with people like Matt Jarbo and all that, who's gotten doxxed, and all these other crazy, my friend Kennedy, like people who put themselves out there on social media and stuff. I think sometimes, in situations like, I don't know exactly what messages were being sent or whatever, but look, there were some high profile people involved, with this project. A lot of even big name actors that, God knows what people were saying to them, or, so I think overall,
if you ever send a hate message to Ray Porter, you can guarantee that will find you, because he's the nicest guy I've ever met. You can't do that. Liz, I don't know why anyone would send messages like that to her. Wonder Meg, not one of the nicest people I've ever met. Right? Like, it's not their fault. It's not them that did it. It's not them. And you know what? I don't even blame some of the artists. I don't blame anyone in particular. I just think, I think the project was rushed. I think the project, I think the WandaVision effect started creeping up, where expectations were getting so high that it was going to be impossible to fulfill. So shortcuts are taken, liberties were assumed, and now, you know, now we're here, and now, you know, we're at a point where no one is going to get to be happy. No one, the only people that get their way are the people that are toxic.
Yeah, and my last thoughts on this, because the last thing I say on this is I do agree 100% with integrity. You know, hashtag drama blows, 100% agree with you there. But also, I think it's the social media that's a big problem of it. Look, even, and we mentioned it a little. I know you mentioned a little bit. Like, there was even a little drama, you know, yesterday between us, and I think I was even thinking about it. I was like, you know, if we would have been talking like on FaceTime or StreamYard or something, I don't think that miscommunication would have happened. You know, I think it's just over text. It comes across a different way, and
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And so I agree with that completely. When it's not, you know, when you're not like on the phone with somebody, or you're not hearing how somebody is actually saying something, or, you know, it can come across as people will take it as whatever, you know,
right.
And yeah, I think that's a big part of it too, is social media blew up about it and didn't really give any of these guys a chance to explain, or even when they said, we're gonna fix this, we've got another artist and stuff,
right,
even that was attacked and all of that. So it just became a very difficult thing to keep going, you know.
You know, in my opinion, I don't know to pin this on the fandom though. Because,
hey, what can I say, right?
You know, it's not the fandom who was plagiarizing his artwork, and they, you know, Lightcast have been denying plagiarism, and that they did not trace or anything like that, instead taking responsibility. Like, this is clear when you look at the artwork that was released throughout the day. That does not look original whatsoever. And
yeah, Lightcast has pretty much gotten off the internet. I know Nicotina did apologize, and he did say that it was an oversight on his part, that he should have seen the similarities and called out to it. So he said that at least, but Lightcast did not.
You know, like, I have one mutual who, like, they made a whole thread about how, like, that Lightcast and others were trying to pin it on him, when it's not him. He's not the one who plagiarizes artwork, you know? Right. And they tried deflecting it. I do think attacking the actors and people involved, or harassing and bullying them, is not the way to go. That is not how you solve these issues, and that is bad. But there's also another way of the creatives shouldn't pin it on other people instead of taking responsibility for what they did, like this so-called original artwork.
Right. Or look, here's the biggest.
Hold on. No. No.
Oh my god.
Quick Sniff is the better half of Ty. My dog.
There we go. Doesn't forget.
Hey, where's Quick Sniff? Thank you, Nick. No, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. Look, I think the biggest killer in all of this, I'll be real, it was, you know, that they said from the beginning it's 100% original work. Obviously, you know, that was it. You know, if it had been anything else, there wouldn't be any issues. I don't think, but clearly that wasn't the case. And like I said, I know Nicotina today and yesterday talked about that he said he didn't know, and that he apologized for not seeing it. Like I said, Lightcast got off the internet, but so
seeing what?
For not knowing that for not knowing the similarities, or knowing that there were comics that actually like looked exactly like what their artist was giving them.
Okay. Well, okay, all right. I didn't even know Nicotina had it. I thought So I didn't know he was actually involved like that. Like I didn't know he was involved in the making of the project as well.
So he talked about it today on his show. It was his idea. It was his idea.
Right, but I thought that's was as far as it went. So I didn't think it would fall on him anyway.
The original idea was they were just going to narrate the actual like the four nerds, just the four nerds. They were just the four of them were going to narrate the storyboards that had come out. And then he called in Lightcast because they thought, well, maybe they can do something a little bigger. And then Lightcast basically took it from there
and changed it a little bit.
Yeah, turned it into a motion comic and all this stuff, and made, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, you know, things happen. Things happen. Yeah. And yeah, maybe there was a transparency issue.
Yeah.
You know, Matt definitely had a transparency issue. Apparently, they admitted that. Like I said, I you know what? It takes a big person. You know, it takes a big person to sit there and say I was wrong. Right. And this does say that. It does directly put the blame where the blame was or where the blame should go. And maybe I just don't know if it's a good look for them to just come off social media like that. Especially after putting out something like this. Not this. I don't know what I would do. I personally, I don't know what I would do in that situation. So I can't say what is right and what's wrong or how to deal with this or that. Cause I've never been in a situation like that. So, you know, I just think this is all crazy. I think we all need to just get along. I think that's been a problem with the Snyder Cut community for a long time it's becoming like the Star Wars community where there's like factions and these people don't like these people and the Last Jedi is the Holy Grail or it's not the Holy Grail or this or that. And, you know, the fandom menace, like, let's not become the fandom menace, please. That could be the worst thing to ever happen. Right. Imagine the Snyder menace. Right.
Like, well,
yeah,
that's not my problem.
I think a real
look Master Shy.
I know, Zach. It's not.
He's like,
it's not.
It's coming. Calm down, Zach. Look, Master Shy saying, look, they put blame on fandom. Yeah, but I think that's rightfully so. First part of the fandom. I mean, look, it's not the first time the fandom has acted out or acted stupid. Like this fandom is up there with like Star Wars, in my opinion. Like,
yeah, for sure.
People are in this fandom are. It's wild. It's wild. People in this fandom are wild, and if you say one bad thing or one wrong thing, you know, it's kind of a walk on eggshells fandom. Actually, when you think about it, because you say one wrong thing, God forbid. You didn't like 15 minutes of a Zack Snyder movie and you might be thrown out. You know, like it's
so like what was that thing that they came up with?
There is
like,
a party to blame on the fandom. Absolutely.
What was the thing that they came up with? It was like the Snyder cult found me. Like they would make the memes,
the Snyder cult.
Snyder
exactly.
Cult
And it's
me.
true. It's true. It's true. Maybe they're referring to those that harass them and the team, but the wording was weird. The key takeaway is that you have to differentiate between toxic part of the fandom. Let's not mix things. Yeah, I agree, and I agree.
The key detail
but
is
it's definitely there. There's definitely to blame on the fandom.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's all the time that we do have for you today. I did promise the better half of my life. I don't know, what does that mean? What does that mean? That I would jump on a call. I would jump on a call. But listen, my final thought. What are your final thoughts, guys? AJ, what's your final thoughts?
Honestly, I personally, like I said, I don't really blame the fandom too much. Because this is it's an issue with the creatives behind that, and I feel like the people in the fandom pointed out, and I think it was rightfully so, because it's like these people are like stealing stuff from this place and not, it's a complicated situation. Hopefully hopefully, the drama would end by tomorrow, of course, as usual, Twitter stuff. And, you also got to remember that in my opinion, that the whole fandom is not toxic. I just think it's a loud minority of the fandom but it is kind of true that the fandom at this point is kind of split in divisions for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah.
So I do agree with that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I said, and I agree. Kazuka said it's things have changed. I think that, this fandom has changed. Obviously, it's, now there's even this war of, some people, you can't be excited for the Suicide Squad, or you're never a Snyder fan. I mean, there's literally a YouTube video I saw from somebody in the fandom that said that today, and I was like, you're stupid. Like, it's people like that make it not fun to be a part of the fandom, and then they get this group of people to follow them and say the same stuff. And so, I mean, my final thoughts is that I'm, it's sad to see, but at the same time, I think, what are you gonna do? It's with social media and all of this, it's like you can't censor anybody really unless you're the government, apparently. That's another.
My NSA agent is really.
Anyways,
really you just said that. He's gonna be like,
right.
What did I tell you about this, man? Come on. But all right, guys, you know what that means. Don't forget to like and share this video on social media. If this is your first time, or was your first time at the Pop Culture Corner, we want to thank you. We do not support toxicity. However, we do embrace your opinions. We do embrace your right to have your opinions and to vocalize them. If there is no other place for you, the place for you is here, right? Because we like everyone, we love everybody, and we stay neutral, right?
If this was your first time, we hope it was great. Smooth, gentle. We hope you come back.
Yes, I'll nurture you
for more.
And if you join our membership, I'll send you pictures of my feet, my toes, whatever you want.
Of anything.
Austin will do some other things, and don't worry, our OnlyFans is on the way. Pop Culture OnlyFans.
That's right. Yeah.
So don't forget to join our membership, guys. For just as low as $2.99 per month, you can gain access to tons of exclusives and other stuff that we have in the works. AJ, thank you for being a part of tonight's stream. Austin, you needed to be here, so I don't have to thank you, I suppose.
I did.
Who do you think we are? Quentin Tarantino. I don't get that.
Who do you think we are? Quentin Tarantino. The feet thing. It's the feet. He's referring to the feet. Quentin Tarantino's obsession with feet. We know about this.
And Taylor gonna be
There's a lot of
for
feet.
a while.
There's a lot of
His
feet.
wife just had a baby. Yeah, there are a lot of feet in his movie. But with that being said, I think Mark Pellegrino has a thing to let you know.
We do it for you, and we do it for the culture. I forgot to mention, hey, get over there
get in that video description and head over to the Pop Culture Corner store and get your themed merchandise. Get it now while it's hot. We got some other stuff that's coming in the works as well, guys. And again, thank you to our new subscribers. You guys are really what makes the Pop Culture Corner go round and round and round and round. Till next time.